Hey guys, how's it going? Kevin Cleary here with a quick first impressions on a knife that I have wanted to check out for a long time from a company that I've wanted to check out for a long time. Huge thank you to Bradley Irwin for making that happen. The knife I've got for you is of course from Vero Engineering, and let me throw that out here now. What we have here is the XL Synapse, and this is Bradley's knife, and as you know, he is often willing to share his collection with the channel to my benefit and to all of yours. So big thank you for doing that. And look, I have wanted to check out something from Vero Engineering for a long time. I've really appreciated their aesthetic, and you know, they do seem to strike this really, really cool balance that I think not only myself, but a lot of knife enthusiasts appreciate. So let's go ahead and get into this guy. Vero started a few years ago with the Fulcrum, which was a very cool knife. It's still, you know, and this knife, what I like about this, or one of the things I like about it, is it still retains the Vero Engineering feel. There was an original Synapse, which I think might have been their second model. I could be wrong on that. Someone correct me if I'm wrong, but I know I remember the Fulcrum as being the big splash that initially was made. I think the Synapse was their second model, and this, of course, would be the XL version of that knife. So it's a little further down the road. So there you go. The Synapse is one, again, that I've been interested in for a while, especially in the XL size. So this is kind of, you know, right up my alley, as many of you guys know. And I have to say, one of the frustrations of doing reviews in Canada is, you know, companies like Vero and a few others have often, you know, interacted with me, and we've discussed doing something on social media. And then when I say, oh, by the way, I'm in Canada, you know, I get the same response quite often, which is, oh, I don't think we're going to make this work, because there is some risk to shipping stuff to Canada, and no one wants to ship a prototype and have it confiscated by customs. And I totally understand that. It does make it a little challenging. So anyway, just wanted to throw that in there because, yeah, Canada Customs absolutely sucks right now. And the whole system in Canada around firearms and weapons and everything is horrible, and a perfect example of what a horrible government who hates its citizens does. Now, that's my little rant. Let's go back and get into this knife. Thankfully, Bradley picked this up and was willing to share it with us. So let's do a quick rundown on the specs here. Up front, we have this M390 blade with a stonewash finish. It is available with different finishes. I really, really like the hand-rubbed satin. That would be my spec if I was going to, you know, kind of spec this knife out for myself. And I think Bradley would probably prefer satin as well, but that's okay. You take what you can get. And we're, you know, frankly, he was really, really happy to get this. Red carbon fiber. This is end grain carbon fiber, which looks really, really cool. It is, of course, a bearing pivot flipper, to no one's surprise. Okay, the flipper is nicely incorporated within the handle, which I definitely think is a nice touch and retains the overall feel of this knife. I think it really does a good job of that. What else do we want to touch on? In terms of deployment, we've got a blade cutout here that it almost resembles a fuller. It does allow you to spidey flick the knife, which I do appreciate. And if you're working left-handed, it also allows you to open the knife via thumb. Some of the, I think the more current model, I'm trying to remember the name of it, but the current model has a blade hole, which is going to be, you know, obviously the same from either direction. Kind of like that. This is a bolster lock. I guess I should turn it over. I'm trying to work through this list of features that I want to touch on, and I keep turning the knife the wrong way for the next feature. So bolster lock, stainless steel lock bar insert, you can see all of that. Internal stop pin, so as you, let's see if I can show you here. Come on. There we go. So there, can you see the stop pin moving around in there? I'm trying to get a good angle for it. Maybe that would show it. So there's the stop pin right there, and you can see it rides through the slots there in the handle. That's the way they've chosen to go about pulling off their stop pin. Nice empty spot for the finger at the back. I want to just point out a couple of these little details. So notice how when you flip this, they've widened this out quite a bit so there's room for your finger, and that does make a huge difference in terms of the ergonomics of flipping this knife. works really, really well because they've been quite thoughtful about that. The titanium materials bolster all looks great, nice stone wash on it. The clip has an interesting touch that I wanted to share with you guys in this first impressions. Look how they've milled out a relief cut, which I think again is a really, really cool touch. Over and over again we see, I like it when makers sort of notice these little details and engineer solutions in that perhaps no one else has thought about or done quite as well. So lots of little stuff there that is really, really interesting and really, really well done. I haven't spent a ton of time with this, but I will say upon initial inspection, I really like the blade. It feels very, very balanced. It's quite thin behind the edge while being fairly substantial stock. And you know, I'm always going on and on about balance. And I think this is going to achieve a very nice balance between being a great slicer and still being quite robust and confidence inspiring. So those are all the main features that stand out to me right off the bat. There's probably a couple little things I missed. Remember, this is a first impression, so I haven't had a lot of time to examine this in every detail. Size and weight on this, 8 and 7/8 overall, so just under 9 inches in length, 3 and 13/16 blade, so that's just a hair over 3 3/4, 5 inches closed. Okay, so that's this dimension right here, 5 inches closed, 4.4 and 5/8 inches of grip area. Now, the design seems to want you to put your hand right here, but I, kind of naturally gravitate to this position. Anyway, either way, there's quite a bit of room here on the handle. Now, again, I haven't spent a lot of time holding this and cutting with it and carrying it, so I can't tell you, if there are a lot of hot spots or anything like that, but I will spend time with it. I will do some cutting with it, and when I come back for a full review, I'll be able to talk a little more informatively about that. 5.6 ounces. So this is a fairly large knife, but it's not crazy big, and it's certainly not crazy heavy. So, if you like larger knives, which I definitely do, then you're not in the least bit worried about the size and weight on this guy. What are my initial thoughts? Well, first of all, as I sit here and look at this knife, I think it is a really, really attractive design. All right. At Vero Engineering, they all sort of have this aesthetic to them. They have this feel to them, and I really, really appreciate it. They look fantastic. Really nice balance between, it's simple, it's modern, it's got a little bit, just a touch, I guess, of sort of an industrial look to it. I love this overall design aesthetic, and I love the way Vero is approaching this. There's the show side, which is, of course, where you're really supposed to look. This is one of those knives where actually I feel like the lock side is as attractive or perhaps more attractive than the show side. Every once in a while, I'll get people commenting that I present the knife in an unbalanced way. It's always show side or always lock side. I'm trying to switch it back and forth enough there. The other thing I think this is good, this does a great job of, is offering a really nice balance between sort of a high-end collector piece and a functional, practical folding cutting tool, right? There's a lot of really little cool design cues here that make this highly sought after and very popular. But there's also, the price point is not outlandish. The construction is, very approachable and simple. And so I think this is absolutely a knife that you could own and have all the pride of ownership that comes with, any really nice high-end, low production folder. Well, at the same time, I wouldn't hesitate at all. And I know Bradley feels the same way. I wouldn't hesitate at all about carrying this and using it. This is not really a knife that's meant to be, a showpiece in a safe or anything like that. So I love all of those balance points that they have struck. And these are, they're hard to get, mostly because of the limited production. They're not super duper expensive, which is really, really nice. All right. So yeah, do I like this? Absolutely. I like this a whole lot, and I'm really looking forward to spending some time with this. Again, thanks, Bradley. He specifically said, look, don't rush, take your time, use it, carry it, get to know it. And I really plan to do that. Would love to hear down in the comments your thoughts. If you've got one of these, if you've got one of the previous models, how has it held up for you? Is there anything I should be looking for, or particularly paying attention to? there you go. That's what I've got to say about that. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Don't forget to check out the channel sponsor down below. We're going to stick DLT Trading down there today, and I don't get a discount from DLT Trading. Sorry about that, guys. But if you're looking for some higher end stuff, they tend to have a lot of stock. And so when I do higher end pieces like this, I'll often link to DLT. Again, using that link does help the channel an awful lot. And so I'll thank you again. Talk to you later.